Yo, welcome to the entertainment headquarters and welcome to another Kaiju Connections. That's right, Kaiju Connections, my show on the channel that is dedicated to all things kaiju on the big screen, television, and everything else beyond. And tonight we're here to talk about a particular kaiju film that is pretty much a fan favorite, has a cult following. It is, I guess, the first ever Danish kaiju movie, and of course, it is Reptilicus. And to talk about Reptilicus, I have a host of amazing guests. We have the Professor Daniel Miller.
Good evening.
Yes. We also have the Kaiju Enigma Ultra, aka Jake Hall, Kaiju Superfan. And then we have Godzilla 851. So, first and foremost, evening, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Pleasure.
And watching us today, we have Mr. DJ Anubis of the Metal Tavern Radio. Who for some reason is saying up sexies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know about that, but okay.
I'll take it.
Yeah, he's obviously been drinking. And he's put, oh yeah, Kevin. Oh yeah, Anubis. But we'll start this thing like we always do. Mr. Daniel Miller, can you remember your first time seeing Reptilicus?
The first time I saw Reptilicus was tonight, actually, this very evening.
Oh.
And I've heard about it through word of mouth and also through it being previously mentioned on the streams. And I only knew about it through its American version. But then I found by pure luck the original Danish version, and it's like, okay, this is interesting. There are some elements of musical and comedy in this which I wasn't expecting, but okay, interesting.
Yes. Jake Hall.
First time I watched Reptilicus, I would say I was about between 6 and 10. We went to a mall, and there was a video store called Suncoast back when they were selling VHS tapes. And I happened to look at a certain VHS entitled Reptilicus. I was like, So my parents got that for me, and that was the first time I was introduced to Reptilicus. And then I still have the VHS somewhere in my closet, and then I ended up, when they released it on 4K, I ended up getting this bad boy right here, which is both 4K and Blu-ray, and it had both versions of the film. And even though I grew up with the English version, it was interesting watching the Danish version.
Yes.
Completely different. And I was like, oh, okay, the creature flies. How intriguing. Righty ho then.
Yeah. Like, I do remember before the Vinegar Syndrome 4K came out, that I had seen the stills of Reptilicus where you had the little wings on the side. And I'm thinking, well, why has he got these little wings on the side if he doesn't ever use them? And like you, I eventually did get the Vinegar Syndrome version. I was going to say Arrow, but Arrow's a different. because I have also purchased a lot of Arrow box sets and videos and DVDs, which are fantastic. But Vinegar Syndrome, I had also, like you say, purchased the box set, and then, like you, I had finally got to watch the Danish version where he flies, and it is kind of funny when you watch it's like it's like Kermit the Frog on crack. It's the only way I can, because it goes across the screen. It's like
It's like watching Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure, the when they're making the Godzilla King Ghidorah, how King Ghidorah was, and all of that. It kind of reminded me of that scene.
yes, absolutely. Like I say, that unlike Toho, I don't think they pay attention to detail when it comes to the puppetry.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Gojira 851, aka my good friend Matt, your first time seeing Reptilicus.
Well, first off in the chat, we got DJ Neko who just came in to say hi. Hello, DJ Neko.
Hello, Neko.
Okay.
Yes. Hello,
Okay.
Neko.
So the first time seeing Reptilicus, I moved to Tampa, Florida in 1996, and I got this little VHS called Famous Dinosaurs of the Movies. And they showed little trailers and different, monsters, throughout the years. They showed off, like dinosaurs and different planets. They showed off Godzilla. Then they showed Reptilicus. I've never heard of this monster before. I thought I'd look out and look for it. We also had a Suncoast very close to us at the Brandon Mall. They didn't have it. I don't know why. They had plenty of Godzilla stuff. Didn't really see any other monster movies there at first. And again, I wasn't really looking because had I known, they had Gamera stuff there as well. But then I met a buddy named, funny enough, named James. And he had a copy of Reptilicus, and I saw this movie for the first time. I can't believe it. I was in sixth grade or seventh grade. It was the American version, and there wasn't any singing, there wasn't any flying. It was more of a straight, sci-fi film with a lot of shooting and the monster doing his thing, and it's about that 1996, 1997, I'd say, the first time I saw this. Then again, that was the only time I saw it. So when I heard that you were doing your stream, I was like, I'm really going to have to do some studying for this. And I had no idea where to watch it. But thankfully, Amazon Prime had a copy of it on there to me to watch. And I watched it before the stream. And here I am.
Yeah. As for me, I seen the first time I ever seen Reptilicus, I would probably say it was about 5 years ago. Because like I say before, and love Godzilla, love Gamera, love all things kaiju, and I started looking into and potentially at other kaiju films beyond Godzilla, beyond King Kong, beyond Gamera. And I had seen Gorgo, of course, British kaiju.
Mm-hmm.
They'd seen obviously other films, but I had never ever seen Reptilicus, and I got to see Reptilicus for the first time on Internet Archive. But it was a very crappy version. I'm not gonna lie. It looked like somebody had filmed it with a camera from a VHS. So they played the VHS and they were videoing on their camera, the VHS to their camera, and then placed it on screen. And that, like you say, thanks to Vinegar Syndrome, I finally got the 4K. And I've watched the regular version and then I've watched the 4K version. Both versions very, very interesting. And this film to me is an interesting film because when my first recollection of this movie, when I first watched it many, many years ago, I wasn't for the film, but I also wasn't kind of against the movie. You know what I mean? I had mixed feelings, and my feelings haven't really changed that much. But having it now on, 4K, thanks to Vinegar Syndrome, I have a much more respectable appreciation for the film, especially now that I've seen the American version in the original Danish version. So let's get cracking and talk a little bit about Reptilicus. So before we start, Reptilicus is the mutual title of two monster films about a giant prehistoric reptile, a pair of Danish-American co-production produced by Cinematography and Sega Studio. The Danish language Reptilicus was directed by Paul Bang. What a weird name. Paul Bang, and released by Saga in Denmark in 1961, while the English language Reptilicus was directed and co-written by Sidney Pink and released by American International Pictures in the United States in 1962. They have frequently been incorrectly described as two released versions of the same film. So that is very much interesting, and why it's nice to own the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray, because then you get the taste of both films. So, Jake Hall, very much like me, you own the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray, aka 4K. So why don't you, because you are the owner like me of both movies, start off?
All right. Well, the film starts off as nice countryside. You get the American version credit, all that. And then you go to where they're copper mining. And I forgot the young man's name, but he's sitting here telling the guys, all right, bring it up, hold it. And as he brings up the drill, he looks at his hand, and he's like, there's blood. And then that's when you see the bloody title of Reptilicus. And then as they're going through the drill, they notice it's skin, like leather. So they go and contact Professor Otto and his colleague, and they come survey all what has transpired, and they realize that it's a prehistoric creature, and they end up taking back a chunk of the creature's tail and put it on, no pun intended, ice.
Mm-hmm.
So as they're studying and all that, they bring the young man who discovered the creature to their I guess you could say it's like a museum or aquarium or a combination of both.
It's like a museum that has a built-in aquarium type thing.
Yeah. And one of his daughters is like, oh father, oh father, oh father. He has this one who drops him off at the museum or facility. I'll just say facility. That's just going to be easier for me.
Yeah.
And then he meets his other daughter, and he sends her on a mission to go get the young man. And it tripped me out where he goes, I don't have to tell you how to find a man. And I was just like, alrighty then. So, and then you're introduced to Mr. Peterson.
Yes, star of the show.
Mr. Overall.
Yes.
And he's just standing there like, and he's like, it's like, oh yes, Peterson, what you're gonna do is just make sure this is at this temperature, which is -20. You're gonna make sure everything is going on. And his assistant is also studying, but he ends up as Mr. Peterson's doing his rounds, and he's like, I want to mess with this electric eel because I'm smart enough to do it. And he's like, he's tempted. So he ends up falling asleep because he's been working so hard at his research and work, and pretty much falls asleep at the desk. But in doing so, he didn't shut the door all the way. So it opens up, allows everything to thaw out. So Otto comes back with his daughter, the blonde daughter.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, and I always forget his name. Dr. Was it Garrison?
I got it right here. Hold on. Now, where'd it go? Give me. Wait, I got it. Hold on. I got it right here. Hang on.
He's lost it too.
Dr. Peter Dolby. Yes, Dr. Peter Dolby. Yes, Dr. Peter Dolby.
Got it.
Darby. Okay, I'll just call him. Funny, named after a Harry Potter character.
Not Dolby, not Dobby. Dolby.
Whatever.
As
Anyway.
in Dolby Digital.
Whatever. Anyway, so they're like, oh, and it's like,
he has socks already.
Yeah, Mr. J. Cole's getting a bit sassy.
He's like, what? And then it's like, oh, thank goodness. She's like, oh, thank goodness. And it's like, Father. And Otto thinks Mr. Peterson left it open.
I'm going to hurt that man.
Where is he? I'm going to hurt. It wasn't him. I sent him away. I'm the one to blame. So because of that, the tissue samples are ruined. Think that they're ruined, but little do they know that there was where the drill had dug in. It's starting to heal. It's like, it's a wound. Does it look like it? And sure enough, the creature is alive.
Yes.
And they end up. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, can I just say though, like I do like these images where you've got like the side, you've got like obviously the scientist Dr. Otto, and you can see like the giant scale in like part of the body in the background in this giant tank. I thought that was really great. Like whether that's him like working towards like a back shot with the imagery, or whether they built a giant, like you see, a prop, looks fantastic to me.
Oh yeah.
One thing I will say, it looks great, and I like you see, one of the things that I do like about this film, it's the slow build up to the reveal of Reptilicus. Like how it started off as like a prehistoric, like basically, it was like a skeleton. It was like a fossil, and then it goes from a fossil to then regenerating to growing to be once again a newborn creature in today's back then, like a new century, which I really appreciated that part of the film. That's part of the plot that I do enjoy, how it's like this dead prehistoric creature that can, once it hits a certain temperature, can basically regenerate and reform. It gives me vibes of Ghidorah from 2019's King of the Monsters. How that was entrapped in ice, was awoken, got its head blown off by Godzilla in the ocean, but then obviously because that is an alien, it can regenerate anyway. But it gives me that kind of element and vibe. But the Professor, Daniel Miller, continue.
Right. Okay. So it's here the Doctor is called a press conference, and the UN has sent over some scientific advisors and a general who is they think that he's American. Yeah, they think that he's American, but he's actually of Danish descent. So the English dialogue there just kind of gets thrown out the window in the Danish version, unless when it comes to the sing along, which happens a bit later on in the movie. Anyway, the press conference takes place. They say, yes, this creature, it's growing from the tail, and it doesn't have any actual forearms. So it does have really strong legs, and we've got it contained behind the aquarium in its own enclosure. Meanwhile, one of the guys who found the bit of Reptilicus at the drilling site has gone on a date with one of the daughters down at the beach. Later on, the news conference after the professor dubs the creature Reptilicus after observing it growing a pair of wings, but they don't seem to do anything. I'm just going to call him Mr. Overalls, just for simplicity's sake.
Peterson. It's Peterson. Yeah. Come on, Peterson.
It's Peterson.
So Mr. Overalls is in the park.
All right. It's not that big of a deal.
All right. So yeah. Peter Overalls is in the park reading a newspaper. Yep, there he is. Peter. Oh, I'm going to stick my hand in the glass of eels. No, what the hell do you think was going to happen?
Clearly, you used to watch Looney Tunes.
Yep.
Yeah, perhaps a little too much. Anyway, Peter Overalls is sitting in the park reading the newspaper when a group of kids come up around him asking, well, this is Reptilicus. Then it comes to this, frankly, jarring musical number about Reptilicus. And it's like, what? Okay, moving on.
Yeah, I forgot that was in the Danish version.
The Danish.
Clearly, you know, they were trying to capture on the success of The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
The hills are alive with Reptilicus.
Nice one.
Even I gotta give a clap for that.
Yep. I applaud it too. Applauds all around.
Yeah, golf clap.
Yep. And the Emmy for Best Original Musical goes to Mr. Kevin Lambert of the Entertainment Headquarters.
Apart from an STD, that's the first time I've ever won. What can I say?
Yep. Okay. Right.
Anyway.
Moving on. Yes, laugh out loud, Nico. Moving on. A storm hits. No, before the storm hits, there's a dinner scene that has another musical number, which is in English as opposed to Danish. Then we get to the real important moment of the movie when a storm strikes, the installation has lost all power, and Peter Overalls starts screwing around with the eels again, when all of a sudden, a loud crashing and banging noise occurs from the room next door, and Reptilicus escapes the confines. Then after fumbling around with his bike, where he gets his head trapped in the middle of the bike, Peter Overalls goes down to the police station and tells them, it got loose, the monster's loose, it's on the loose. Then it's like, please leave your bike outside. We've had enough hooligans bringing the bikes in already, especially on a rainy night. No, you don't understand. The monster trapped my own bike as a prank when it got out. Ha ha, very fucking funny. Now get out or else we will be arrested. Anyway, long story short, Reptilicus is on the loose, and after a number of cows are killed on a farmer's land, a small family is attacked when their house is caved in by a giant foot. After we see a shot of Reptilicus's tail, which looks very much like a metaphor for something that we can't really say, or else we might get demonetized. So I was just going to say, it's not what you think, but your mind goes there.
Suggestive.
Yes.
Suggestive.
Yes. And also being dragged very suggestively as well. Anyway,
Hell yeah.
Anyway, the suggestiveness destroys the house. And then we have the general coordinating efforts with the local military to hunt down and destroy Reptilicus.
See, this is her face after she sees the suggestiveness.
Yeah.
She looks very like, I want it, but I can't let me dad know I want it. Anyway.
That is very scrumptious.
Matt, aka Gojira 851, I'll let you take over.
So the general starts to mobilize all the military, and they bring out tanks, they bring out machine guns, and they all begin firing on Reptilicus. And they are doing absolutely nothing against this this monster. That's the guy right there. They're firing upon this monster, and everything's just bouncing off them. Nothing is working. And they're like, what's going on? We're doing nothing against him. Eventually, they close in with flamethrowers. And, oh, fire is working. Yay, great. All right, cool. Well, Reptilicus retreats into the ocean. And like, yeah, well, hey, maybe it'll just die. Really? And like, yeah, it'll just die. It'll go in the ocean. It'll just die from its wounds. Like, no, it's not. It regenerated from a tail. Pretty much, you think it's going to die going into the ocean? So it's in the ocean, and they decide to go out with battleships, and they want to, start dropping depth charges and actually blast the thing to death. Well, the problem is that if you destroy the thing, a la War of the Gargantuas, which I think it's actually kind of fun that it kind of has a kind of a thing with that. If you blow this thing up and you blast it across, many places, if you destroy every single piece, you're fine. If you don't get every single little piece, it can regenerate. And if you blow it into hundreds of pieces, that's technically 1 million, hundreds of Reptilicuses that could actually grow from it. So they explain this to the general, and they're like, well, shit. We can't. Well, he doesn't say actually shit in the movie. I'm just being animated. So he's like, well, okay, fine. We got to stop. So they call off the depth charges. Yeah, that's the shot. So it's sleeping at the bottom of the ocean, and they actually call off the depth charges. And they actually decide to go off. But the thing is, they actually do hurt Reptilicus. They blow off one of its legs. We'll get back to that later. Trust me, we'll get back to that later. So they go back to land, and they start to try to devise plans. Well, how can we actually deal with this thing? Well, maybe it'll just stay out at water now. And maybe we got rid of it. Maybe we took care of it. You're assuming a lot of things. And actually, unfortunately, the good doctor, suffers a heart attack from all the stress. So he's taken out of action for only a couple of minutes of the film. But he comes back. Yeah, he's fine. So it's like, okay. All right, all right. Yeah, he's back. All right, fine. So he comes back as Reptilicus makes its way back to land and starts on another rampage. When it actually shows off as a new ability, a acidic green slime, and starts spitting this stuff everywhere and causing mass panic. Everybody's running, and comes to a really dumb part of the movie. When people are actually evacuating, they're actually evacuating across a bridge. And this one guy decides to elevate the bridge as these people are evacuating. You clearly see that they're evacuating, and then it's actually funny. Actually, in one shot, you could actually see that not that many people are left, but in the other shot, there's lots of people. But in this one shot, there's not. He actually lifts the damn bridge and actually cuts people off from leaving. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? The people are trying to evacuate. What are you doing? Okay, they can't just jump off and swim across. All right, they're there, and the monster's technically coming. But then you check the next shot. Reptilicus is nowhere near the bridge, attacking the area. So it's like, what are you doing, pal? What are you doing? So the general and the other guy go over, and they lower the bridge. The people are able to escape. It's like, I guess it was tension, but it just didn't really make any sense. So Reptilicus continues to do his thing. and they're firing, nothing's working. Sort of
And, and during all this, in the Danish version, you have scenes like this.
oh yeah, I didn't have the Danish version. I had no idea this thing could actually fly.
So the Danish version, well, up to like I say, up to like Jake Hall, until I got this, the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray in 4K version, I had never seen the Danish version. So because I own this now, I was able to see the Danish version. And yes, it's nice to see Reptilicus fly, but it is kind of, you can tell by the puppetry, it's not the very best. It just looks like a sock being dangled in the air, in my opinion. I don't know if Jake feels the same. It's not Toho level of puppetry, put it that way.
No, it's not. It was fine for what it was, and of course, for back then, it was okay. I mean, for the effects that they had and all that, it was okay.
Yeah, they did the very best with what they had to go with in 1961. So I appreciate it for its time, for what they did. And because, like you say, up until I seen the the Danish version, I'd only seen the American version. And with the American version, you always had like the wings, like them little things on the side. I'm thinking, well, what was the point of designing a kaiju that's got these little flappy wings at the side if it's not going to be used, or there's no, explanation for them? Where at least with the Danish version, you get an explanation of why he's got them flappy wings at the side of his body. Another reason, in my own personal head, why he had the flappy wings in the American version, because he kind of escaped and went into the ocean. I'm thinking, is that why he has them there? Because it helps him to swim along the water, underneath, like similar to, say, Tiamat of the Monsterverse, or Manda from the original Toho film. I was thinking to myself, well, that's a good explanation why he has the them flappy like wings at the side of his body. It's to help him maneuver in the water. He's an aquatic, prehistoric giant monster. That was what I was taking from it when I seen the original version. And then obviously you see the Danish version, the original version, and he's a monster that has the ability to fly. And as much as I appreciate the American version, it would have been nice if they did include the fact he flew in that one, because then it might add it to the excitement of the creature and the overall film. But anyway, Matt, back to you.
So they're continuing to fight with this monster, with Reptilicus. And once again, the professor falls ill again. So the general is just trying to figure a way how to deal with it. He's like, okay, I've got a bomb. And I'm going to use this bomb. And they're like, buddy, we just went over this. If we use the bomb, you're going to blow it up and there's going to be pieces everywhere. Can you guarantee you'll get every little piece? And then the strongest piece of acting, I think, and the best scene as far as the humans, he looks over at the intercom. And he looks back at them and he says, how much more longer can we keep this up? And all you hear is the gunfire through the intercom system. And you hear the Reptilicus kind of roar as well. It's like you hear the battle still going through. And you look through the streets and you see the destroyed, buildings that they're using, as props and as sets. You can actually feel the actual devastation. And Reptilicus looks goofy. I'm not going to lie, he does. But the actual sets that they used for Reptilicus and the actual spots that they used, plus the guns, the tanks, and other, a lot of heart did go into this film. And it might sound like I'm picking on it a little bit. I'm having a little fun. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. I am having a little fun. There's a lot of heart and soul that did go into this movie. I will give it props, especially during this, closing scene. So
You also have to appreciate it that the fact that it's like the first ever Danish giant monster movie.
Mm-hmm.
Toho at this point for the 1950s, from 1954, were experts at creating, kaiju effects, giant monster effects, these kind of movies. Go, give it a go. For British, with the British and the American co-produced movie. Denmark, aka, had never ever done anything of this scale. And you don't know, because of its time scale, this was created back in the 1960s, the kind of budget that was afforded to them when creating a movie like this. So, if we look at this movie now, you'll get a lot of people who watch this film who are kaiju fans that might go, well, it doesn't look like a very, good looking, kaiju movie because of its effects and all that. But you've got to respect that its time, its date, and what they had available to them at the time. And for that, I appreciate it and I respect them at least giving this a go. Back in the 1960s.
I agree. All right, so as the general is just feeling just low about this whole situation, the daughter says they had to give the professor a kind of knockout drug to sedate him. All of a sudden the general's like, that's the idea. Because then he said, oh, well, maybe we could just knock out Reptilicus. And he's like, oh, that's a great idea. And they're like, man, it would take a lot of knockout drugs, and it'd take like a gallon to knock him out. And you'd think that that's not a lot, but for an animal that size, just go with it. So they actually kind of set the pace for Godzilla versus Biollante in a way, where they used the oh god, I'm blanking on what it's called in that, the radiation stuff on Godzilla and that, where they shoot it into his mouth.
Anti-nuclear bacteria.
Thank you. I don't know why I blanked on that, but they actually set the pace for that, where they're actually going to load the knockout drug into a rocket. And they said, oh, you can't get that through his skin. His skin is so powerful. It's like, you're right. We're going to shoot it into his mouth. So they actually waited until Reptilicus got to this one part of the city. And they're like, okay, this is great. But they're getting into a part where, okay, how are we going to lure him in? Well, an ambulance drives by, and it's sirens blaring. Now, an ambulance over in Europe is a lot different sounding than ones here in the United States. They're a lot louder.
Yeah.
They're a lot. Yes, they attract a lot more attention. So Reptilicus turns. Well, then one of the subordinates of the general, he feels bad. He couldn't defeat Reptilicus, who actually hops in a jeep and actually drives to actually.
Poor Professor. Oh, are you not feeling well, Professor?
Oh,
I feel just fine.
oh.
But yeah, thank you for asking.
Oh Lord.
So he drives the jeep over to distract Reptilicus and loses his life, but that leaves the opening for them to shoot the knockout drug into his mouth and put Reptilicus to sleep. And that's essentially the end of the story. It's like, okay, so they're going to put him to sleep, then they're going to talk about destroying him, but that's essentially the end of the story. As we cut back to under the sea and under the water, we see the severed foot from earlier in the film start to clench together.
Yes.
Anyway, but it started to clench up and start to regenerate. So the idea there could be two Reptilicuses in a future film, which unfortunately we never got. So that is Reptilicus from 1961.
Yes. So the film itself, for me, it's good. It has positives. It has negatives. I'm just going to show some shots from the movie. Like, I do enjoy this shot. I love how the fact in this image you get to see the Reptilicus head, the face. I love this shot of Reptilicus from the movie. I love the underwater shots. I think these shots for me are my favourite, the underwater shots. Seeing Reptilicus underwater, like asleep till it's awoken. I think they're very, very good. But overall, we'll start with my good friend, the Professor Daniel Miller. Like your overall thought on Reptilicus.
Reptilicus, for me, it's a mixed bag. It has some really good cinematography, specifically in the opening title sequence. It's very nicely shot, and it actually sets a really ominous tone. But that tone, it feels lost because the movie again shifts from mysterious build up to a kaiju reveal. Then there are these comedy elements with Peter Suspenders messing around with the eels. Then you have the dating sister subplot. Then you have the occasional musical numbers, and it does end up being disjointed. Special effects wise, now it's not Toho level, and it's not
Yeah,
Derek Medding Super Mario Nation level of special effects in miniatures, but it's not the absolute worst special effects either. There are much worse special effects out there.
yeah.
Reptilicus, with regards to Reptilicus itself, puppeteering wise, it's not really that convincing of a creature, but it is an interesting concept behind it from its design and how it exists within the context of the movie.
Mhm.
And again, the miniature effects, for what they are, they're pretty good. Now, I say it's a mixed bag because some of it has aged fine, more so than the special effects sequences, but it's it's a fun little movie. You know, it's not something that you can take seriously every time you watch it. You just have to enjoy it for what it is, and uh even find the odd uh humorous parts about it, whether it be in the out of place comedy and musical numbers, or even in just uh for a choice of words, subpar effects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, Kaiju Enigma Ultra Jake Hall. Your like views on Reptilicus.
Considering, and this is kind of perfect situation because you and me have seen both versions.
Yeah.
Dan filming has only seen the Danish, and Matt's only seen the English version. So this is, in a way, you're getting both versions in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and different point of views from each of us. And my personal opinions is like, considering I grew up with the American version, of course, the American was somewhat serious. It still had a little bit of the goofy elements,
Mm-hmm.
but it still had the serious motives and the serious. And then in the Danish version, you have a little bit of the serious, but it seemed more comedic in a way, a little bit. Uh, the practical effects, the special stuff, they're both good for its time. The creature itself, it's very intriguing. Even the in the American version where the dude is getting eaten by Reptilicus, and it's just like a sheet of paper colored, and it's like it's like it's just eating a piece of paper. And then the way they incorporated the green slime or the acid slime
Yeah.
and all of that. I mean, overall, enjoyed this film. If I had to pick which version of the film I like, it would have to go to the American version because it I grew up with it. I do though wish that they had added the flying scene.
Yeah, I
But,
agree with
so
that.
that way we knew that, hey, this creature flies. May not be the greatest of flight. It wings don't flap, but it's just like kind of like a glider in a way. Exactly. It looks like
A
like you
sock.
a
It's
sock
like your
pup.
it's like your mother holding your sock up and going,
But yeah,
Do your laundry.
but all in all, I enjoyed both versions of the films. I like the American version just a little bit better, but I enjoyed both.
mm-hmm. Gojira 851.
Well, I enjoyed the film. I thought it was interesting that they put a little plug for tourism for Denmark halfway through the film, and they're like, "Oh, this is the beach, and oh, look at this wonderful statue. Oh, and there's the castle over here as well, and oh, and look at this over." I'm like, I see what you're doing here. You want me to take a vacation and come see you guys, don't you? Okay, all right, yeah. And maybe if I make some more money, yeah, maybe I'll come over and see you guys in a little bit.
Like
So,
it does not surprise me, like, because Denmark didn't have any, to my knowledge at that time, major movies that were like driving tourism to the country, that they decided to catch on to the big kaiju buzz. And it does not surprise me that writing will create a kaiju movie in the time in the 1960s and go, we'll create a kaiju movie that's epic like Godzilla or whatever, or close to what they could possibly do on that scale, budgetary wise. And also, let's make it like a, an advertisement for our country to make people want to come to see us. Because let's face it, if you look back at a lot of the Godzilla movies, you see all of the Japanese landmarks get crushed in the movie.
yeah,
Or different parts, like even in, like, you see, -1, Ginza gets destroyed. If you look back to see Godzilla versus Mothra, the giant television tower gets, Mothra's cocoon wraps around it, and obviously anybody who goes to Tokyo or any part of Japan, you'll in your, for example, a Godzilla fan, you will see these landmarks in your mind. Will go, I've seen that in Godzilla versus Mothra. I've seen that in Godzilla versus King Ghidorah or Ghidorah, the three-headed dragon. Your mind will instantly go to the movies, will go to the landmarks and go, Jesus Christ. And where this film was, filmed, or in the movie where that particular scene was filmed or based in. And you're like, oh my God. And I imagine when they were creating Reptilicus, potentially they had that in mind, but then they maybe went over the top with promoting it as like a tourist video on top of a kaiju movie.
yeah. But I just thought it was just a little funny because there's actually a time in the 2000s where in Hollywood, like every year they would do that as well, like, oh, like come to Alaska or do this. But anyway, let's take away from the movie. I thought the movie had a great build up to Reptilicus. I liked the characters. I thought Mr. Peterson was the MVP of the movie, and I thought that he was actually really funny. And I thought when when Dr. Dalby sent him to the police to go get help, I thought that shit was hilarious. He's like, the power is out. The electricity is gone. Even the electric eels are out. I thought that shit was hilarious. I had to pause the movie and I was starting to laugh when he said that. It was just so funny. And then when Reptilicus, broke out and everybody was doing his thing, it's a fun monster movie. I thought the human scenes, the military scenes were done very well. The action scenes, them doing their thing, and they kind of positioned Reptilicus almost kind of like a precursor to Shin Godzilla as well. Like Shin Godzilla's second form is almost kind of like Reptilicus in a way as well. With his like acid blood as well. So it's kind of like you see kind of like Reptilicus's inspiration in future monsters as well. It's like, yeah, it's kind of goofy at first, but it inspires in the future. Maybe not intentionally, but I see it in the future as well. So, but as for like a grade of a movie, like how I normally grade movies, I would definitely give this a good B. It's not a terrible movie. Could have been better. Well, it came out in the 60s. And again, yeah, it's not Toho. It's not even Daiei or however you pronounce whoever did the Gamera films. I've heard that pronounced like 5 different ways. But like, I think that this was a decent film. I give it a B.
Cool. If you had to give it a rating out of 1 to 10, what would you give it out of 10?
6.5, maybe 7.
Cool. Professor, your rating?
Reptilicus. I would rate Reptilicus either a 5.5 or a 6 out of 10. It's a mixed bag of a movie to me, and there are some moments that I do appreciate, but also some moments that I think it's like this. Some of the movie is serviceable. There are some parts of it haven't aged all that well. I'd have to watch it again, see if it grows on me a bit more in the future. But for now, it's in between 5.5 and 6 out of 10 from me.
The Kaiju Enigma, Jake Hall.
I'd give it a 7.5. I mean, I enjoyed this film a lot. And this is a combination for both. I mean, after watching both versions, it's a 7.5. Now, if I was to rate them separately, it would be a 7 for the American, and I would probably say 6.5 for the Danish one. But for both of them together, it's a 7.5 for me.
Yeah. As for me, I appreciate the fact that Denmark went out of their way to attempt to create a kaiju film that was very different to a lot of the kaiju films that were out at the time. So, for example, we had seen so many Godzilla movies where he'd been on his own or versus other creatures, Mothra, King Ghidorah, etc. And we had Gorgo come out, and then this came out. And what they did with this is, on top of just trying to create a kaiju movie, they tried to do something different with the kaiju. They tried to create like a backstory, so it's a prehistoric creature that has this ability to regenerate. And, it starts off like, they find this fossil or they find this bit of of the creature, and it's frozen. Once the temperature rises, it begins to regenerate till it fully forms again into Reptilicus. So I like that aspect of the movie, of this thing that was lost, found, and then is a bit like a mad scientist film. They try to not control it but contain it, and it breaks out and all hell breaks loose. I really like that aspect of the film, both versions. When it comes to both films, like Jake or like Professor, I probably appreciate more the American version, but I can understand why the Danish version is the way it is. It is very much like an advertisement for the country. just like anything else, it was probably trying to work after the backstory of, the sound of music with like the music elements, but I don't think it really worked in the concept of this film. I think they should have left that alone, and it might have made it a stronger, better film. Hello, Mr. Tony the Dead. Thank you for
Tony.
thank you for joining us. I think they should have left that element alone. But overall, if I'm gonna rate Reptilicus, I'm gonna give it bang in the middle, 5 out of 10. I think it's a fair rating for this particular film. I have it on, 4K Blu-ray. I've, like, J. Cole and like Mr. Tony in the Dead, I do have the Vinegar Syndrome 4K. So I probably would watch this again through time. Like, I can watch majority of the kaiju films over and over. And anybody that is interested, that is the cover of Vinegar Syndrome 4K Blu-ray. If you're interested in seeing both versions of this particular film, I do recommend that you buy the Vinegar Syndrome box set. It's worth it. It's beautiful cover art. You get like a nice poster inside. It is worth it for me. But what can I say? It's an interesting film. It could have been better, but like you say, for its time in the decade that it was made, it's an enjoyable film, and I appreciate and respect what they try to do with it. Mr. Professor Daniel Miller, what is coming up in your life or on your channel next?
What is coming up? I have some more written fictional stories in the works, which I plan to get finished very soon. Other than outside of the written works, I do have some ideas. One for a double feature retrospective, which is still going on in development. And yeah, we just have to keep stirring the pot, see what comes.
Mr. Jake Hall, the Ultra Kaiju Enigma, or whatever the fuck you call yourself. I get very confused with your name.
He's like Roger K. Barrett, who has so many different aliases, no one knows what to call him.
Well, like, I'm sure the last time he was Ultra Kaiju Enigma. Now he is Enigma Ultra Kaiju, or Kaiju Enigma Ultra. So fuck me. You are what you are.
Well,
I love you either way.
I was originally called Kaiju Enigma, and then I added the Ultra in.
Mm-hmm.
How
So
many? How many documents do you have? How many documents about your ID do you have, Jake? Like what? 50? 100? 150? How many times have you changed your name in the past, year and a half now?
Well, no, guys, that's the next level he got. And then when he gets to the next level, he's gonna add another name. It's just like this is a Dragon Ball thing. He's unlocking new levels. Next is gonna be Kaiju Enigma Ultra Jake Blue, and then it's gonna be Ultra Jake
Well,
level 3, and then level 4, and then Great Jake Ultra Enigma. Yeah, I know what he's doing. I know what's going on here. I know what's up. See? Yeah, there he is. There he is. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Yeah.
Well, all I know, if he goes to Kaiju Enigma Ultra Blue, I'm gonna ask, what is your OnlyFans name? But anyway, Jake, if you got any new collectibles coming up that you would like to showcase?
Yeah, well, I'll leave them where they're at, but I can tell you what I got. I got the Haya Godzilla King Ghidorah versus King Ghidorah Fire Breathing. I just recently got the Haya Skila that came in.
Oh, nice.
That came in 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 days ago. And I also got for Funko Pops, I got the Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla beam battle from Mechagodzilla 2. Unfortunately, I don't have that one, but I will eventually get it. Hopefully, I got that one. I also got King Ghidorah, the Lightning Strike. I got Sleeping Space Godzilla,
Nice.
and I also got the. I always have trouble pronouncing the Ichibano.
Ichiban.
Ichiban Show, yeah.
I got the Mecha Godzilla 2 statue, and I also got Space Godzilla.
The Mecha Godzilla one is on point. It's brilliant. It looks beautiful. The Space Godzilla, I've heard mixed reviews, including Matt's review of the figure. He's not very pleased with it.
I actually enjoyed mine. Oh, and I also got
54.
the bus of Godzilla minus one, the head.
I really want that. I'm gonna try and get that myself.
I might even get the Heat Ray version eventually because they do have it available on Big Bad Toy Store.
Nice.
So,
Yes.
but other than that, that's pretty much all the for kaiju wise. That's all the collectibles I've gotten. Oh, and I also got finally I'm complete with the -1 Ichibano. I got the minus color finally.
Oh, nice. So, Matt, what is coming up with you, my friend, aka Gojira 851?
What's going on with me? I got a bunch of stuff that well, I got this actually at GameStop. The Ichiban Show Godzilla 91 with the blue dorsal plates, which I would recommend if anybody is going to be shopping for these. Yeah, go to GameStop. They get fun stuff like this in all the time.
Yeah.
Also,
back the Ichiban
I'm a
shows.
huge fan of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, the 91 film. I got the Godzilla Saurus as well.
Yep, I got that one as well.
Yeah. By the way, the Dorats are terrible that came with it. They're just globbed with great golden paint. You know, the SH Monster Arts are so much better. I don't know why they didn't bother painting those, but so I've got stuff.
Yeah, I found that weird that when they advertised the Godzillasaurus from the from Godzilla versus King Ghidorah 1991, they had advertised the little what's it, Dorats or whatever they're called?
Yeah,
and they were just like gold. They was just all. They never actually painted them like they look like in the movie, and I was like, "Well, is that really?"
Yeah, it's like Goldmember got his hands on him.
Yeah,
Not Goldmember, Goldfinger.
Yeah, it's the same as when they released. I think was it.
Yeah, I'll send pictures, but yeah, Goldfinger.
Yeah, it's the same as when they released. Is it the Jet Jaguar from Singular Point? They released the figure, and then they released on top of the figure. They released like with the figure these miniatures to go alongside it, but they were unpainted, and it was like it looked like they were unpainted Warhammer figures, and I'm thinking, what the hell's the point? You might as well. You're paying for a figure at the price because, as you know, SS Monster Arts ain't cheap. You would think for the price that you're paying for a figure, at least fucking paint the miniatures for, to make sense for the sales point that you're making these figures at.
Or just dish them entirely and just give us the figure.
Or don't bother adding them and just sell the figure at a cheaper price.
Yeah.
And I just remembered next year I'll be getting Tiamat, Haya Tiamat.
Yes, I have a few things pre-ordered. which I'll be doing some unboxing videos for. One's coming real soon, which I'm really excited for, which is connected to Jaws.
Nice.
So I'm excited for that. But this has been exciting, gentlemen. This has been a fun stream as always. As for me in the entertainment headquarters, what's coming up is on Wednesday. I'm bringing the next Into the Darkness stream, which is dedicated to all things horror. And I'm going to be joined by our good friend who's watching, Mr. Tony the Dead, Mr. DJ Anubis of the Metal Tavern Radio, and Mr. Anthony Jordan of Anthony Jordan's Movies and Gaming. We're going to be talking about the Critters franchise. And outside of the Critters franchise, we will be on the 27th of this month. We are doing a special, which is the Rocky franchise. We're going to be talking all the Rocky movies. So if all of you guys would like to join us for that one, you are more than welcome. Everybody who's watched today, thank you for watching the Entertainment Headquarters, Kaiju Connections. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would like. And of course, give a big shout out and appreciating to my amazing guests. Please like and share to these guys. They are amazing people. They are good friends. They are fellow Kaiju, enthusiasts. And none of this is possible without them. So, like I say, thank you for joining us on the Entertainment Headquarters and Kaiju Connections. Keep loving the new movies. Keep loving all things entertainment. Keep the Kaiju love alive. And we'll keep you all at the next one.